Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're opening a door to a world we all once knew very, very well. Childhood.
That's right, a really universal experience. And our way in today is through a source called Childhood Memories and Language Learning.
Now, that title might sound a bit academic, but really think of it more like a charming guide.
Exactly. It helps us not just remember, but actually express those early years. The ones that really shaped who you are right now.
Precisely. We're going to follow the story of someone named Sam, and through his memories, we'll uncover some useful vocabulary and insights.
Little tools, really. Tools you can use to bring your own childhood memories to life. Maybe with a bit more clarity or emotion.
And even if your childhood was, totally different from Sam's.
Which it probably was for many of you listening.
Right. But the feelings, those simple joys, maybe even the little bumps in the road, they often echo, don't they?
They really do. So as we explore Sam's story, think about what clicks with your own experiences, what feels familiar.
Okay, so let's dive into Sam's world. The source paints this picture of him growing up in a small village. It sounds quite idyllic, nestled in the hills.
Yeah, you get a sense of a different pace of life, maybe closer to nature.
Definitely. It mentions him running barefoot through fields. Can you, almost feel the grass?
Oh, absolutely. Those sensory details are so powerful, aren't they? They just instantly transport you. Science actually backs this up.
That's so...
Well, experiences, especially from childhood, that are tied to strong senses or emotions, they create these really robust pathways in the brain.
Ah, okay, so they're easier to recall later on.
Exactly. Which
Now,
is why, a certain smell or sound can just flood you with memories, even decades later.
it makes sense. The source also mentions his grandmother telling him bedtime stories every evening.
Such a classic, comforting image, that feeling of safety, of connection.
And then the ultimate childhood staple, building forts out of blankets and chairs.
Oh, definitely. Who didn't do that? Creating your own little world.
Right. And what's striking is how simple these joys are. Barefoot running, stories, a homemade fort.
Not grand events, but they clearly stuck with him.
Yeah.
It really speaks to the power of, simple pleasures in childhood. Our source talks about that.
And those quieter moments, too, like rainy days, lost in drawing with crayons.
You can almost smell the wax, can't you?
Totally. And he had this beloved wooden toy train, his constant companion, it sounds like.
Yeah, and these specific objects often become like anchors for our memories.
And-
That train wasn't just wooden wheels, was it?
No, it was probably adventure, maybe a friend.
An entire universe in his imagination.
Yeah.
And the fact that even now, seeing toy trains makes him smile.
That really shows the lasting impact, doesn't it? The source calls them warm footprints.
It's a lovely phrase.
Yeah.
Suggests this lasting trace of comfort, of warmth from the past.
It really is. Now, it wasn't all just sunshine, of course. There were little dramas, too. Like his favorite snack, sweet bread with honey, sounds lovely.
Simple, comforting.
But then there's this memory of getting lost at the market. That panic.
Oh, yeah. And then the immense relief when his dad found him. That feeling of being lost, even for a minute, is huge for a kid.
And those moments, maybe the slightly scary ones, they add layers, too, don't they? They teach you things.
Definitely. Resilience, maybe trusting others. And then you have the pure fun stuff like summer visits with cousins.
And endless games of hide and seek.
Oh, the best. The thrill of finding a perfect spot, waiting to hear ready or not.
Exactly. And then there's that classic kid contradiction. Hating naps,
Hating them. Fighting sleep during the day.
but absolutely loving bedtime stories.
It's so relatable, that resistance to rest, but eagerness for that cozy end-of-day ritual. It shows we have our own little preferences, even way back then.
Let's shift to his school days for a moment. It was a tiny schoolhouse. Get this. One teacher for 3 whole grades.
Wow, that's very different from what many of us experienced. A much more intimate setting, perhaps.
And he apparently learned to read by looking at animal posters on the wall.
Isn't that charming? A very visual, maybe more natural way into reading.
And there's this lovely detail about the village dog, Max, who used to follow him to school.
Oh, that just adds to the picture, doesn't it? That sense of community, of innocence.
It really does. So All these glimpses, they lead back to that point about the toy train making him smile even now as an adult.
Those warm footprints again. It hammers home how deeply childhood experiences shape us.
And you listening, you can probably think of something similar in your own life, right? A smell, a song, an object.
Something that instantly connects you back. It's amazing how ingrained they become, influencing our emotions, our preferences for our whole lives.
Okay, so we've walked through some of Sam's memories, but our source isn't just about, feeling nostalgic. It also gives us the language to talk about these
Right,
things.
practical tools. Let's start with some key phrasal verbs, really common ones related to childhood.
First up, grow up, as in, I grew up in a quiet town, sort of the starting point of the story.
It is, it sets the scene.
Hmm.
So think about your own experience. Where did you grow up? What's the first thing that pops into your head?
Then there's look back. I look back on childhood with joy. That's the act of reflecting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Revisiting those early times. And bring up, my parents brought me up well. That covers the whole process of raising someone.
Captures the energy, too, with run around. Kids were running around everywhere. Pure childhood chaos.
Ah, yes. And the social side with get along. I got along with my neighbors.
Hmm?
Those early relationships.
And look after. Grandma looked after me after school. That nurturing aspect is huge for many people's memories.
Definitely. Then maybe a bit of playful mischief with sneak out. We sneaked out to play after dinner.
Admit it, you probably did that. And then calm down. I calmed down after the story. Maybe after sneaking out.
Perhaps. And there's pass down. That toy was passed down to me. Connecting generations.
And finally, that creative spark. Makeup. We made up silly stories in bed. So important for imagination.
So think about how these verbs might fit into your own childhood stories. Which ones jump out?
Good question. Now, beyond verbs, the source points out common word pairings collocations that just sound right when talking about childhood, like fond memories.
Yes, those warm, happy recollections. Or the classic play outside. Seems so basic, but vital.
And a childhood friend. Those early friendships can be so formative.
Hugely. And we've already mentioned bedtime story. Such a comforting phrase.
Then there's family tradition, those things you did every year or every week that create that sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm. And think about a rainy afternoon. That often evokes a specific kind of memory, doesn't it? Indoor games, maybe reading.
Or a toy collection. For many kids, that was their prized possession. And just the general term school days.
Covers a big chunk of childhood. And going back to basics, simple pleasures. And the foundation for many, a close-knit family.
These pairings just feel natural. Which ones resonate most strongly with your own childhood? It's interesting to think about.
It really is.
Yeah.
Different ones will stand out for everyone.
Okay, now for some practical tips. Our source highlights a few common language mistakes people make when talking about the past. Little grammatical things.
Yeah, easy slip-ups. For example, it's grew up, not growed up.
Right. And brought up, not bringed up. These irregular verbs can be tricky.
They can. The source also mentions using we were playing, not we was playing, if you're talking about more than one person.
Good point. And saying she had a good childhood using the past tense, not she have a good childhood.
Also, watch out for other irregulars like fought, not fighted. And if you're talking about multiple memories, say, there were many good memories.
And small things like remembering the article, a small boy, not just small boy. And getting phrasal verbs right, like pass the toy down to me, not pass down me the toy.
Just paying attention to these little details can make your storytelling clear and help you feel more confident sharing those memories.
Definitely. The source also gives some great strategies for actually telling your childhood stories. One big one is using sensory language.
Yes. Think about the smells, the sounds, the tastes. What did that bread and honey taste like? What did the fields smell like?
It makes it so much more vivid, both for you and for anyone listening.
Absolutely. It pulls people right into the memory.
Another tip is to focus on telling one clear memory with real emotion. Don't just list things.
Right. Pick one moment and really explore how it felt. And crucially, try to mention how that memory might have influenced you.
How does it connect to who you are today? That adds so much depth.
It links the past to the present, showing how those early experiences weren't just isolated events, but part of your journey.
And, sometimes looking back can stir things up emotionally, so the source even offers a few simple stress control tips.
Yeah, just gentle things, like visualizing a happy moment from your childhood before you start talking.
Or even just letting yourself smile as you share a happy memory, using a warm tone, a natural rhythm.
These small techniques can just make the whole process of revisiting and sharing feel more, well, comfortable and positive.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, we've got a few practice prompts for you, taken directly from our source. Ready to try them?
Okay, first one. Try telling a short story using the phrasal verbs grew up, look back, and the collocation bedtime story.
See how you can weave those together naturally. Second, describe the house you lived in as a child. Try to use at least 3 of the collocations we talked about. Maybe close-knit family, rainy afternoon, play outside.
This really gets you digging into your own specific memories and finding the right words.
And finally, a quick grammar check. Try correcting these sentences. I see the dog every day.
And the other one, she bring me to school.
Just a chance to practice those common corrections.
Childhood really is that first foundational chapter, isn't it? It sets the stage for so much.
We really hope this exploration of Sam's story and the language around childhood has maybe sparked some reflections for you, perhaps shone a light on your own early years.
What stood out to you? What memories came flooding back? What are those warm footprints that you still feel today?
We genuinely encourage you to think about that. And we'd love it if you shared a memory or a thought that this deep dive triggered for you. Let us know in the comments.
We always find those personal connections fascinating.
And here's a final thought to leave you with. Think about a seemingly small, maybe easily overlooked moment from your childhood. How might it still be quietly shaping your perspective or your choices even now?
It's often in those quieter moments, those early experiences, that the roots of who we are today are really deeply tangled.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We really appreciate you spending this time with us.
Yes, thank you. We look forward to our next exploration together.
Goodbye for now.